Hello and welcome to this edition of 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for watching. Hello, Mr. Leggett. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you today?
Are you a little relieved now that recommended FY16 operational budget is in the hands of County Council?
Not quite. I'll be relieved when it's complete, and that has to go to another step.
Yeah, you officially presented your recommended budget on March 16. It was a 17-minute speech. And one of the things that you said during that speech was, this was a very difficult budget, but one to be proud of.
Yeah.
How did you get there?
I call the budget one of challenges and also opportunities. Now, in the past, we've had to close budgetary gaps as high as almost $1 billion, $978 million to be exact, almost $1 billion. We had a gap this time of $238 million. We had a change in the governorship in Maryland, continued sluggishness at the national level. We have a very difficult Supreme Court decision out there with the state of Maryland on some tax refunds. And so we've exercised a number of options in the past that made it very difficult for us to go back to revisit those options. So given that set of circumstances, it's difficult to resolve a $238 million challenge, even though the challenge by the numbers much smaller. The options are fewer. And so I did so without raising taxes. We provided at least the maintenance of effort plus some additional amounts for the school system. We've increased funds for our libraries. We maintained funding for our police department, provided a 2% increase for our employees, and we've been able to do all of those things within a balanced budget of not increasing taxes. So it was a challenge to do all of that, but we exercised virtually every option that you can imagine to come up with this budget this year.
Let's go over some of those highlights, and you just mentioned a few of them. It is a tax-supported $5.1 billion budget, right, with a 1.1% increase over this year.
Right. That's pretty remarkable, a 1.1% increase. That's a huge turnaround that many jurisdictions look at and say, well, boy, that's pretty remarkable. But keep in mind that if you average out all of the years that I've been county executive, I think you see probably just a little less than 2% for all of those years combined. This is now 9 years, and so in 9 years, the budget would only have increased just under 18%. That's a pretty remarkable number.
Let's talk about MCPS. That you always say that it takes almost half of the budget, which is
it takes half of the budget.
Half of the budget. It takes half of the budget, which is $2.2 billion, and they did receive an increase of over $30 million this year. Right,
they did. Plus, we paid for $27 million of costs that they otherwise would have to pay out of a trust that we have. And we have a gap, and that gap is one that's right now just over $30 million. But that gap reflects the reductions of the state contributions. They reduced the gap, reduced amounts of funds to Montgomery County, thereby creating a gap. So we've closed all of that gap with the exception of the state fund. And we are working aggressively with the governor and members of the General Assembly. And we believe very strongly that we'll be able to get at least a good portion of that back, if not all of that back. If we're able to do that, then we'll come in with a budget ultimately that's pretty close to 100% of what the school system originally asked for. They've had a fund balance. We provided some additional monies for them. And if we get back the amounts from the state, then I think that we'll come out overall in this very difficult climate with a budget that really reflects the desires of the school system in many ways.
Since we're talking about education, let's transition to Montgomery College. Mm-hmm. On this recommended budget, they received a modest $3 million increase, but nevertheless, the request was funded at 98%.
That's correct, but if you have to go back and look at budgets, not just in 1 year alone, but you have to look at it over a period of time. Last year, we provided a 17% increase for the college. That's a huge increase. And with this budget, there's another 3%. So in a 2-year cycle, that's a 20% increase. That's a fairly significant amount. Now, they've done wonderful things at the college. It's growing in many ways. They're expanding their programs and services. They're reaching a large number of students heretofore that they were not able to reach. But overall, It's a wonderful institution, well managed and well run, and they've provided a very strong case for the resources that they sought. Unfortunately, we were not able to provide all of that. We even suggested they increase tuition consistent with what we've seen around the state and other institutions. And that's always a challenge because they deal with a large number of students, by and large, many of whom can't really afford high increases. But given the magnitude of the increases we've had in the last couple of years, what we're providing now, and what we see comparatively in other sections of the state, we thought that an increase was warranted, at least at this point in time. Hopefully we can get back at some later point to do even more for them, but right now I think this is about all that we can afford. Keep in mind that in terms of the county government, we only went up about 1.1% in terms of the growth of this budget.
Let's talk about property tax rate.
Mm-hmm.
You recommended to reduce it approximately 0.9 cents per $100 of assessed value. What does that really mean for me, the homeowner in Montgomery County?
Well, remember, you're going to stay with your son, so therefore
But still, I still pay property taxes to Montgomery County, and so do many others.
I'm only joking. But here's what that means. It means for average house in Montgomery County price, which is about $445,000, we reduce the actual rate by just about a penny. But because of the assessed value of the property goes up a little bit, which is a good thing for the county, you'll see very, very little of an increase at all, which is about $15 per year. That's about $1.25 a month. And so it's almost a standstill budget. Keep in mind, the average household last year went down by $17. So we've gone down last year by $17 and up this year by $15. So that in a 2-year period, you're virtually seeing a zero increase in the average property value in Montgomery County.
It also increases the staffing for the Department of Permitting Services. Is this about fast-tracking more development in the county?
Well, it's about streamlining the process as well as making sure that we respond as effectively to the customers. Now, this is an enterprise fund, so we've added additional people from the enterprise fund. So when people pay their fees, they are paying into this fund that we operate through the county as an enterprise fund to ensure that they get the services they need. So that does not count against the other portion of the budget. It only counts for those people who are utilizing those permits and obtain those permits within a reasonable period of time. They want a top level of service, and by providing the additional personnel through the enterprise fund, then they're able to respond as best they can to the challenges that are out there. And I think it works very well for them because we've streamlined the process. It's much more efficient. We have better technology. And I think we get some permits out now, virtually all of them in a relatively short period of time. We want to go through a 30-day turnaround. And I think this helps us to get to that point.
Mr. Leggett, we're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll continue talking about your recommended FY16 operational budget.
Right.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
There's a reason why area law enforcement are out enforcing pedestrian and traffic safety laws and preventing killer pedestrian crashes. Be alert. Be street smart.
Are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes.
Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups.
We're in!
For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.
Be active, Montgomery. Be active. Be active, Montgomery. Be active, Montgomery. Be active, Montgomery.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to 101 with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili, and we're talking about the FY16 operational budget, which goes into effect on July 1st.
Right.
We're talking about some of the highlights on the budget, Mr. Leggett. Another thing that you added this year was an additional $1 million for programs on developmental disability. I do remember while we visited with you some of the forums that you were conducting throughout the county, a lot of people did come out and talk about the need for these programs.
Well, certainly there's a great need and a great need for even more. The challenge for us, of course, is that we've had some reduction from the state. We've had some rules and regulations to go into effect, such as the increase in the minimum wage. It makes it difficult for them to retain the employees and to maintain the level of services that they need for this particular area. And people with developmental differences in the county, it's an area that we've tried to provide additional resources over the year. We provided an additional $1 million, but I think we need to do more in order to close that gap between the differential that currently exists, and that's a real ongoing concern that we must fully address. But at least we are able to just keep our place thus far and hopefully not get further behind as we continue to try to address this challenge.
Let's talk about affordable housing. When you presented the budget, the creation of it and preservation, it provides $43.9 million, but you said it was not necessarily quite the goal that is needed in the county.
Well, in fact, I made a pledge to try to do 2.5% of the property tax, and this provides only about a 2% increase, about 2% at that level. So we're about a 0.5% short of what the goal and what I pledged. But keep in mind when I made that pledge, we were looking at what many thought would be a different economy. We were looking at not the kinds of reductions that we see at the state level. We were not looking quite as dire as we could see now with the Supreme Court decision. So when you're taking all of those things into consideration, the fact that we were able to provide really about $44 million, a slight increase over last year for affordable housing, is pretty remarkable. Also keep in mind that over the period of time that I've been in this position, we provided about $660 million for affordable housing programs under my leadership. That has leveraged another $1 billion into the county's coffers. Given all of that, we've been able to maintain, preserve, and construct a fairly large number of affordable housing in Montgomery County. It's not the goal, it's not the objective. There's still much more need that's out there. But I think when we look at our record, look at what we've provided thus far, and our pledge to do even more, I think this is a pretty good statement from my administration, given what I consider to be the importance of affordable housing.
There's affordable housing, and there's, of course, also senior housing. The budget does call for an additional $7 million for the construction of senior housing in Silver Spring and Glenmont.
Yes, certainly. It's a project that we feel very proud about in Silver Spring and Glenmont. We are looking at some additional locations throughout the county. We're working with our private partners in the nonprofit sector to make certain that we have at least a good response to a growing population base in Montgomery County of seniors. All of those programs together, I think when you look at them, the county has played a pretty significant role, but that growth and the population needs continue to grow in our county.
Something new that this budget funds, it's body cameras for the police department, for the pilot program.
Right.
What's next?
Well, let me make certain that people understand that we have a very good police department. The men and women of Montgomery County Police Department, I think, are some of the best in the entire nation. Excellent leadership at all levels. And what we want to do is provide even more transparency in terms of our operations to make sure that we not fall into the situation that you've seen in other jurisdictions. Now, having body cameras is not a panacea for transparency to every aspect of police work because it only captures a certain amount of that. So I don't want people to have the assumption that by providing body cameras you get every detail that you may want because the technology and the use of them simply is not there at this point in time. But it will add some additional transparency, something that I think our men and women in Montgomery County have no fear about in terms of the utilization of it. But they are doing a very, very good job now. We simply want them to do an even better job to add this additional level of transparency, only in my opinion that provides them with some greater assurances that they are doing the job that the men and women of this community want them to do.
How much was allocated on this budget for that?
It's about $2 million for the body cameras. In addition to that, we're also providing additional vests, armored protective vests for our police as well.
And if this turns out to be a successful pilot program, is that something that obviously the county is looking into implementing, and how much would that cost?
It's about $2 million a year, and this will get us pretty close to that. It will pilot over a period of time to make sure that we work through all the concerns that are there. There are some legal and legislative challenges we have to deal with as well. But this will get us just about all of the people that are on the front line of police services in Montgomery County, about $2 million a year.
Another thing that this budget provides is a very modest 2% increase in wages for county employees. How much is that bulk?
$2 million, 2% is
2%. What does it translate into?
Well, I don't have the exact figures of what it means, but you have to look at, it's probably a couple of $1,000s for the average county employee in Montgomery County. That's a modest increase. Look around the region, though, and you see that most people are probably at about that level or just a little bit less than that. But you have to take this into context. The context is that over the last few years, the men and women who work for Montgomery County have really suffered a great deal. They provided services when we reduced significantly the entire workforce by 10%. For many years, they did not receive any cost of living adjustments. They had their step of merit increases eliminated. We had less contributions in terms of health and retirement, and we furloughed county employees for a period of time. And so the ability for the county to weather through the great economic challenges that we face came really on the backs of the men and women of Montgomery County. And so now to provide them with a modest increase, I think is only fair.
Let's talk about the libraries. This is another, the lovers, what is it, the friends of the library, not the lovers, but the friends of the libraries.
They are lovers of the library.
They are lovers of the library as
Very
well.
strong lovers.
They're very, that is so true. And they come out in force every time, every year when you hold these forums. And this year again, the libraries are receiving a recommended small increase, again, 5%.
Right. Keep in mind the 5% increase. This is one of the few areas that actually receives an increase. But if you go back for a period of time, the libraries received something like a $28 million reduction. And so we've tried over the last few years to restore back to the level that we were a few years ago. And we're still not quite there, but we're getting much closer. This additional $500,000 of 5% increase will allow greater ability to purchase material for the libraries to get us to the point where I think most people feel the library should be. But it's a real asset to our community, and we need to restore the materials as well as the access to libraries by the hours that we extended last year.
Mr. Leggett, we're going to take a short break and we're going to be right back. Please do stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Salad on Saturday, fruit on Friday, throw a ball Thursday. Water Wednesday, touch your toes Tuesday. Let's move Monday, swap us next Sunday.
60 minutes of physical activity a day and eating well can help get your child healthy. So keep them active and eating well every day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov.
In Montgomery County, we have a goal to reduce waste and recycle 70% of all waste by 2020. By recycling and reducing waste, we save natural resources and make our community even better. So recycle at home, work, school, everywhere, and keep recycling going. For more information, call the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311 or visit montgomerycountymd.gov/recycling.
Keep it going.
Recycle more now.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC 311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Hey, mister, down here. You illegally passed the stop school bus. I'm placing you in timeout, and this timeout means big fines, plus you really could have hurt somebody. That's why school buses are being equipped with video cameras to help kids like me stay safe, so respect the bus.
Welcome back to One-on-One with Montgomery County Executive Ike Leggett. I'm Lorna Virgili. Thank you for watching. Mr. Leggett, we're talking about the budget, obviously. It is so much is included in this budget. We're just going through some highlights of it. What would you say were some of those things that were left behind, perhaps, that should have been included but couldn't?
Well, first of all, the challenge related to affordable housing, we did not get to the level that I wanted to get to. We did not provide as much of the funding for the college and for the school system that I would love to have provided. There are some programs in terms of technology that we've fallen behind on a little bit, and I would wanted to provide even a higher increase for our employees. There are some ongoing challenges we have because we utilize some of our set-asides in this budget that I probably would want to protect, especially given the challenge that we have with the Supreme Court decision. It may mean that in the foreseeable future we may have to have a slightly higher property tax than what had been anticipated. But for the last 2-3 years, in fact the last 7 years, we've avoided any kind of major tax increases. But you cannot continue to avoid that for much longer. When you see, especially through this region, the large number of jurisdictions that are having to increase the property tax, Montgomery County has not had to do that. We also wanted to make certain that we reduce the fuel energy fee that people pay. But for me, I think to do so this year, given the other challenge that we had, would be a mistake. And so we had to dig a little bit further into our set-asides, not reduce some of the other fees and taxes that are still on the books that we wanted to, and not get to some of the programs that I've described a moment ago. But overall, when you balance this, the fact that there's no tax increase of property tax, it's basically a standstill budget, and we meet the major obligations of the county, I think is a pretty remarkable budget.
It did not include funding for the local campaign finance reform.
Right.
Why not?
Well, think about this now. This is a reform that we have to pay for to the tune of about $8 million. We passed it, I signed the bill, and I think it's a good bill and it's something that we should do. But you have to keep that in the context. First of all, it's not needed until 2018 election. Now, for me to set aside $2 million now for that, think of what that $2 million would have provided. One, it would eliminate totally the entire body cameras of the police protection. All of the health and human services programs that we had to cut, challenges as it relates to employees. It may have meant increase in taxes. So we're going to have to cut vital programs in health and human services, education, or potentially increase taxes in order to provide monies for a campaign finance bill. The bill resources are not due until 4 years from now, 3.5 years from now. I think it would be a mistake, and to suggest to do so now under those circumstances, I think it's almost foolhardy to suggest that we're going to not do some of those things or increase taxes to ensure at this point in time, 3.5 years in advance, that we have money for campaign finance. I mean, people will question our priorities at that point in time.
Obviously, this budget is already now in the hands of County Council. Mm-hmm. Have you heard any feedback from them so far?
I think overall it was pretty good. I think there are some details that obviously they would have to go through and make their final decisions on. But we communicated with many of the council members and the council president throughout this entire process. They've stated very clearly that they would prefer, if I could, not to increase the property taxes, which we avoided. I think we share many of the same priorities, and I think that they prioritize education at the top of the list. And I think they want to make sure that we have the resources to help the most vulnerable within our midst. To do all of that within this budget context, I think I've provided them with a map, a blueprint, and recommendations that I think essentially will achieve that. I'm hopeful that we do not make any further mistakes in terms of increases to this budget that could come back in the years to haunt us, because we have some real challenges that are out there. We have the wind case. We have the built-in salary increases that we've already provided over the last year or so. And we have some other challenges out there. I just mentioned again that we have to provide some revenues at some point in time in the future for campaign finance. There are a number of challenges that are out there, and we should not make those challenges greater because we've exercised many of the options that we would otherwise have in order to address those challenges. So I'm hopeful that we'll find common ground, that we would make certain that not only we resolve this budgetary year, but that we provide a blueprint that will allow us to go forward in future years.
Before I try to transition into other topics, is there anything else you would like to add about the FY16 operational
Well,
budget?
keep in mind also that we've made our OPET payments. We've also made sure that we stay on track to provide a 10% set aside of reserves for future years, which is pretty remarkable given the challenge that we've had over the last few years. Right now, given what we've done in terms of budgetary priorities, we have the highest financial reserves right now in the history of Montgomery County.
And let's talk about the snow season, something that perhaps is not ever in the budget, but it does happen. What is the tap for this year? Hopefully, fingers crossed, we're done with it.
Well, I don't think we're done until July the 4th.
And then comes the derecho.
We provide some revenues in the budget, generally about $12 million, but we are attacking somewhere close to $30 million now. It's been a very difficult winter. I've said to people that, I used to like snow. I no longer like snow the way I did as a child. When you pay almost $1 million for every inch of snow that falls in Montgomery County, that's a huge amount. And so when I see the beautiful flakes that falling out of the sky nowadays, I don't see these beautiful flakes anymore. I see dollar signs literally falling out of the sky because that's what we're paying. It's a huge amount, but it's something that we have to do to make sure that we provide the kind of quality of life that people in Montgomery County expect. And we remove the snow, and we do a great job of doing so.
So the tap so far, roughly $30 million.
At least at that point. I hate to even continue to count, and I hate to think that we could have even greater challenges in the foreseeable months.
Okay. Recently, you met with the mayor of the District of Columbia, also with the county executive for Prince George's County, and joined forces to pretty much tackle homelessness in the region, signed agreements about affordable housing, workforce development, economic development, and supportive services. How are the three jurisdictions really going to collaborate and come together?
Well, first of all, the fact that we came together and to talk about this issue, I think is a very good step, because this is not something people normally do, especially at this level with so many people involved. But I think it shows a commitment on our part to work together to make sure that we're going through the best practices, because people in many ways cross jurisdictional lines to come to get the services for affordable housing. The dedication of having the professional staff to make sure that we're working together and that we're all committed to providing the resources to help end homelessness. The best way of doing so is to not have people fall into the homeless category in the first place. And if they do, committed to get them out and to make sure we provide the sort of wraparound services to eliminate it as quickly as possible. It is in all of our interest to do so. We simply want to make sure that we bring the proper attention, the resources, and the leadership to ensure that we end it. And I think that's a firm commitment that we all have.
Well, Mr. Leggett, we've run out of time. Thank you for sitting down with us again today.
Yeah.
And for you watching, remember any information about Montgomery County, do visit the county's website, montgomerycountymd.gov. I'm Lorna Virgili, and thank you for watching.
When there's the potential for trouble, my boy's going to find it. So I pool safely by staying within arm's reach. No matter what kind of pool, lifeguards or not, a designated adult watches the kids. When I'm the water watcher, I move my chair near the edge. I do a regular head count and step in when there's too much horsing around. When there's a group of kids and parents, we always know who the water watcher is, and we always keep track of our own kids. And when swim time is over, when the kids are out of the pool area, is when I make phone calls, respond to texts, and chat with friends.